I will show you how to solve equation with variable on both sides. Objective. Student use properties of equality and inverse operation to solve equation. Before we moved on, I want to make sure that everyone, when you are solving the equations or when you're doing math, make sure that you're on the right track. So the way that you do that is that you check your answers. And the best way to check your answers, especially when the answer is not posted yet, is that you substitute the answer that you found for the unknown back into the original equation and check if it makes a true statement. So for the equation, remember it has an equal sign. A true statement would be like 0 equals 0 or -4 equals -4. If you get a -4 equal a +4, then that is a false statement, not a true statement, and that is where you know that your answer is wrong. The unknown that you found, maybe you miss an inverse operation, maybe you miss the sign. And most likely is you miss the sign when you have a -4 equal and a +4. That is not an equal statement, so that's a false statement. And before you move on to the next problem, you want to do that to make sure that you're on track and you don't do all 10 problems and find out it's all a waste because you did it wrong. Okay, and when we did it wrong, we get the no points on the test. So make sure that you're on the right track by checking your answers and by doing the process that I just mentioned above. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go over the big concept for solving equation. Number one, inverse operation. Go ahead and say inverse with me. Inverse. Very good. Now, combining like terms is another concept. A reminder, like terms are terms that has the same variable and the variable has to have the same exponent. Or we always say power. Same variable, same power. Terms that has no variable, like just a number, and we call number constant, are also like term, like -4 and 7, because they don't have any variable. And make sure that you combine like terms before you start the inverse operation to solve the equation for the unknown. Okay, starting off with a little quick cartoon for you guys. Now, in solving equation, we want to remind you of the process. We want to make sure that our equal sign are lined up. So draw a river line, and those are the green line that I draw right here. Make sure that you always circle or box your answer. Even if Ms. Nong doesn't say it in the video, always do that and make it a good habit to always have a highlighter. If you have one, go ahead and highlight the answers. That way it will draw your attention to it and it make your life much easier when you look at it. And when the problem is beautiful, you want to keep it forever. Okay, we are starting with example number 1. Solve this and we have variable on both sides. Go ahead and bring all the x, combine the like term and bring the x to the right side because it has 6. On the left, I'm going to bring everything else. So I'm going to bring the number, or the correct word is constant, and we are writing the blue to show you the inverse operation. The process that we use to solve the equation, you will hear it quite a bit, is the inverse operation. Can everyone say inverse? Okay, very good. Now, inverse operation means just that we're doing the opposite. We are taking away the 4x from the left. When there's no sign, it's a +4x. To get it away or cancel it out, I have to subtract 4x from +4x and it will cancel out. And we do that to both sides, and that's the reminder of the scale. So on the left, we are left with 8, so we bring it down. And then on the right hand side, you take away 4x from 6x and you're left with 2x, and we bring the +12 down because we haven't done anything to it. Now I have 2 and the 12 that I need to eliminate from the right hand side in order for x to be solved. So the one away from the x, it looked like the 12 is going to be undo first. Okay, so we are doing the inverse operation to the one that is not closest to x. I always say this, closest friend go last. So that's how we know which one to undo first. Undo the 12 because it's away. It's a friend, but it's away. And the 2 is closer to the x. So we will undo that last. Okay. Subtract 12 from both sides, and we are going to simplify, and we get negative 4 equal to x. The last step is to do the inverse of 2 times x. Remember, there's nothing in between the 2 and the x. That means it's a multiplication. So inverse of multiplication is, yes, division. So we divide both sides by 2, and we will end up with x equal negative 2. You can feel free to flip the answer for x on the right to the left. And if you have negative 2 equal x, we always read the x variable first. So if it's on the right, we start with x on the right first equal negative 2. That's how we read the answers. Make sure that you always check. Remember, we have the equal with the question mark on the top. That would be ideal. If you don't have a way to put the question mark on the top, like when you are typing, I'm typing here, you can put the x on the side like I'm showing you guys with the black line. That we're plugging the answer, which is negative 2, into where you find the unknown, which is x in this problem. And we are going to simplify and see if both sides give you a true statement, and 0 equals 0 is a true statement, right? If it's 0 equal negative 1 or 0 equal 4, that is a false statement. That's how we know that the answer is wrong, okay? So I simplify the left and I get all the way to 0. I simplify the right and I get the same. So that's a true statement, and that's how we can check our answer and make sure it's correct before we move on to the next problem. This is example 2, but it's just showing you another way to solve it. If I keep the variable on the left instead of on the right, I want to prove to you that it's still going to be the same answer as long as you're doing the inverse and the simplification correctly. Okay, so we are taking the 6x away from both sides. We end up with a negative 2x plus a equal 12. Inverse of adding a, we subtract a to both sides, and then we're left with negative 2x. And remember, negative 2 multiply x. This is where a common mistakes might happen. People think that is adding the 2 will get rid of the 2. No, it's the negative 2 multiply x. So inverse of multiply is divide. You divide by the exact same number, negative 2, to get rid of the negative 2 on the left and eliminate it from the equation, and we're left with x equal negative 2. The same answer as we did before, but before we keep the variable on the right hand side. And so we prove to you that whichever way that you are keeping the variable on the left or on the right, you are going to end up with the same answer as long as you're doing the math correctly. In this problem, you see that the variable is alone on the left-hand side. So what I would do is I make the variable go to the left, and then everything else go to the right. We draw the river line to line up our answers, and we're going to go ahead and do the inverse of adding 5y. And remember, there's nothing in front of the 5y. That's a positive 5y. So inverse is subtracting the 5y. Now we are ending up with 2y equal 44. And last step, so we divide by 2 on both sides, and y equal 22. Now it's your turn to try it. Remember, check your step by doing the last part where you plug in the unknown variable to the x there, and check and see if the equation is true. If it's true, then you got the right answer. If it's false, then maybe we need to check and see, did I forget the inverse? Did I forget the sign somewhere? And that's how you know it. Okay, so feel free to pause the video right here and try this problem on your papers and see if you can get the answers. Okay, your answer should be x equal negative 9. If you try it then and you got the correct answers, give yourself a pat on the back. But don't forget the check process, because sometimes we don't get to post it in time for you to check. Sometimes we have to post it way at the end, or sometimes we totally forget to post it. You can check and get your own answer. Try another one. Pause your video and work that out on your paper and see if you can solve this problem for y. Okay, the answer you should have is y equal 4. If you did the check and everything come out good, you are good to move on to the practice and the quiz for this lesson. If we don't get it right, make sure you come back and check your problem. Which one did I do wrong? Which step? Know your mistakes. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you find it helpful. See you in the next one. Bye. If you're completely lost, I would recommend going back and watch a basic equation solving called Solve One Step Equation. It comes before this one. If you are okay with this one, but you just need more example, we have a part 2 with more solving equation with variable on both sides. You may continue to watch that one if you need more example. Otherwise, go ahead and start your work. Have fun and good luck.